For year, Mary Rosa struggled to get off to sleeping or to remain sleeping, since she thick felt love she was creature attacked by insects. Think possessing a team of bee hum within the leather of yours legs, acrid thou, she says, description, the feeling how suppressed her. He's really morbid. Now in her 80s, the art historiographer has a state named uneasy leg symptom, RLS, that tortures her at overnight. It makes you wish to scrape your legs and get up and go on. It was fair unfeasible to lie downward and sleeping since A's legs were jerky in the irrepressible path, she explainable. The symptoms were so harsh, she didn't wish to go to bed at overnight. Mary Rosa can't recall while the issue began, but the state went diagnosed for year. Human beings would say, oh thou ve got convulsion, you must get cinchona or sleeping in corks in yours cot. And I did all these things. Of year, they had no impact. She as well tested frictional salve in her legs to ease the sarcastic feeling, but how never lasted length quite to let her sleeping via the overnight. Visits to her GP as well unsuccessful to give ease. Ultimately, she was called to the sleeping hospital at Boys and St Thomas's Hospitals in London, wherever she's now creature purified by neuroscientist Dr. Guy Leschziner. Uneasy leg symptom is a overall neurologic disturbance how causes an insurmountable encourage to go, especially at overnight, and is frequently related in disagreeable sensations in the legs, Dr. Leschziner explains. It affects up to 1 in 20 adults, he continues, or can reason harsh sleeping privation. At its lowest, Mary Rosa was surviving on just a few several hours sleeping at overnight, occasionally though less than. I had full nights out of any sleeping at all, she says. If I was really weary, I'd sleeping, later wake up for an time or two and occasionally get upwards. RLS is frequently genetic but can be inflicted by some facility consisting ferrous deficit and pregnant, and he's normally lightweight to consider. For largest human beings, just avoiding caffeinated, alcoholic and specific medications can be quite an delicate workout. Stretch or leg massage therapy can assist, but for several, drugs are required. Mary Rosa's state is so harsh how medicine is the just stock option, so Dr. Leschziner has been with a conjunction of drugs to try to monitoring the symptoms. And it seems to be work, stipulated she keeps up the dose. I'm complimentary of uneasy legs, she exclaims in pleasure. Or occasionally I get an assault that is fair so terrible how I discover I'm walk on all overnight. But he's my error since I've neglected to get the pills. Although the treat is work, Mary Rosa is yet incapable to get a complete overnight sleeping. I'm disappointed to tell, the reality how my legs are more than by monitoring has not in fact struck my sleeping patterns. 3 o'clock in the night seems to be a period while I wake up in any case. Dr. Leschziner says how's not extraordinary. Which you explain is in fact really overall in human beings someone ve had their sleeping violated for lot year, in how sleeping is a learned addiction. The dreadful of the overnight front and the continuous destruction of sleeping can persevere for lot year. He told occasionally human beings necessary sleeping refresher, relearning how bed equals sleeping quite rather than the torment of a hard overnight front. Gunman in consultation, Mary Rosa has advanced her own strategies to transactions in the sleeplessness resultant of year of sleeping destruction, inflicted by uneasy leg symptom. By auditory to my sound books or to piece of music, my marrow is start to halt fleeing and so I do later sense prepared for sleeping yet how doesn't definitely indicate I sleeping for more than rather than a pair of several hours, she told. Which thou making substantially is thou diverting oneself, explains Dr. Leschziner. By thought on the history or piece of music thou auditory to, thou no much longer thought on the trial of departure to sleeping and thus yours marrow switches in inactive regime and later sleeping happens on you as if by crash.